Hello, everyone. For some reason today, I did not hit live, and then I was like, I did not get any of my stuff together. I'm usually better about that. All right, so flawless, even skin tone, all of those great things. Well, doesn't come too easily for me. Why? I am going to point it out. So as it's pretty obvious, I have rosacea. It's gotten a ton better, but I do have it. I'm going to point out some of the things that did and some of my other issues. For one, if you see these red dots right here, some people who get rosacea get these things that they call rosacea bumps. And when they go away, they're not raised anymore, but sometimes they leave these behind. So my skincare really helps with my rosacea. It's super important, but it still has to work to take away these bumps. You can see these ones are a lot smaller. This one's a lot newer. So I get these red spots. Eventually they go away, but they're there, right? And a little other redness going on. And then we have this thing. It's much better now. You can barely see it. Some of you guys remember, some of you don't, that I was in an accident and just cut my face open from here to here. It was really, really bad scar for a long time, had a bunch of surgeries. It's mostly fixed. They put it into my smile lines, but you can see when I smile, it pulls a little right there. That's because they pulled the line here and just a little of it goes right there. So I have a scar on my face. I have my rosacea, which causes some redness or unevenness on my skin tone. And I have my rosacea bump spots, which will go away, but it takes a really long time, right? So knowing all that, how do I shoot for that flawless look? Well, I'm going to show you guys today the way I started doing it. And over the course of the week, we're going to be talking about foundations and what kind of coverage they have, maybe which one would be best for you. But today, I'm just going to kind of show off to you guys how I do my flawless face look. So I always start with primer. This is getting kind of low. I gotta be all honesty with you guys. I am using my hydrating primer because it's winter time and my skin gets real dry. But the mattifying primer I also mix up in the summer. And if I'm being completely honest, my favorite primer is this stuff. This prime and setting powder, but I felt wrong using it because you can't buy it right now. It was a limited edition product and I think it's coming back, but we don't have it back yet. So for now, I won't use it today just for you guys so that I'm not cheating because, I hate to show you stuff that I'm like, hey, look how great this is. You can't have it, not nice. All right, so I'm gonna stick with my hydrating primer today. And I put that on, I give it a couple seconds to set, and then I get into the rest of the routine. So I'm gonna pull out a concealer. Depending on your foundation, and actually with the foundation I'm gonna use today, I could just use that as a concealer. There's lots of ways to do that, but I really love this concealer, so I'm gonna use this too. Now remember, less is more when it comes to foundation if you have a good coverage going. So I have a great coverage with this concealer, and I'm telling you less is more, and I already just put on a little bit, but it was a little too much. You don't need to use much if you're using a good concealer, right? So I'm going ahead, I've got the concealer, and I'm just doing under my eyes for my dark areas, because I'm a mom and I'm 40, so I have them. Maybe some of you out there are moms who are 40 who don't have dark circles under your eyes. You're winning. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit up the places that are the most red on my skin. Now, if you're covering redness, a lot of foundations are made for redness coverage. They will cover red really, really well, which means that you can cover this. This concealer covers red like it's not even hard. You can cover like this, but when you get to some spots like age spots, or I'm going to call this my beauty mark, or under eye areas, those spots, the dark areas, sometimes it's a little harder for foundation, concealer, whatever to cover up. One actual trick is that you can take a red or orange color of makeup of some sort, put it over the dark spot, and then cover that up. It's going to cover better actually, which sounds really weird, but you can totally do that. But my spots that I'm dealing with are mostly red. I'm just kind of patting on my concealer here. I like to do any of my spots that get really red, and I really wouldn't have to. Like I said, my foundation is going to go over it, but I just like having the extra coverage. And any of you who have suffered from rosacea, you know what I mean. It's just a comfort zone thing. So I like to hit up some of my reddest areas. I'm going ahead and doing that now. So, isn't that beautiful? Now that that's done, I am going to go ahead and use my spray foundation today. So it's going to give me a kind of airbrushed look, and I like that because I can customize it. So things like this, I didn't cover that up. I didn't put a red over it and then cover it because I kind of like those things to show through just a little bit. Gives you a more natural look. So don't be afraid if you have little tiny spots of any sort, little freckles or something. Let them show through, because really it's going to make it look less like you're wearing makeup and more like your face is just that naturally fresh all over, right? That's what we're going for. So I am using a brush. I never used a brush to put on foundation, you guys. I always just put it on my hands and rubbed it in before I started this business. But it really does make a difference to two things that mean a lot to me. One is the amount of time your product stays on, and that is huge to me. And two is to the smoothness of the overall look. So I am going to go ahead and with this airbrush or with the spray foundation, I just spray it on my brush and then I kind of dab it everywhere I'm going to want it and then blend it out. So what I'm doing here is I'm going over those places I already covered to make sure that they are nice and the exact same color and flawless as the other one. And you can see all my redness going away very quickly. I'm going to hit up right here a little bit more. There you go. And then on some of the other areas that have like what we're going to call beauty marks, why not, right? I'm going to kind of put some on there, but I'm just going to blend it out over them. So you can see I'm leaving my little spot here, my little spot there, because I'm blending those areas out a little more. Over here on the redness, I just kind of went like this to get that full coverage. Over here, I'm blending out a little bit. So not all foundation products are this customizable, but most of them you can kind of play with the amount you put on, the heaviness of it. You don't, especially with like powder foundations and stuff, you don't want to get too heavy, because if you do that, it's going to look a little cakey. But if you have a liquid, you can put it on a little heavier in some places and then blend it out a little more in others to kind of get that customizable foundation look. The spray makes it super, super simple. You can still have the full coverage, which I obviously need. But if you're using a good brush, you can just customize it on your face to exactly the different places you need. All right, now another little flawless tip that I go for. First of all, when you're finding your color match, you want to match to your neck and your chest, not necessarily just to the color of your face. Why? Well, think about, and this can happen all times of the year, because even if you're not sunbathing, you're still getting some sun if you're walking outside occasionally. But let's think about summertime. You wear your makeup, you wear your SPF or whatever, and your skin gets a little more tanned, right? Even this time of year, my face, my actual skin is a little lighter than my chest. So if I match my foundation to my face, it looks like it's wrong. But if I match it to my chest, everything goes much better together and I look more put together. So another trick, I always blend down into my neck just a little bit from where I put my product on, because that's going to make sure that you have that really nice flawless look and you're never going to have ring around the face. Also, make sure you blend a little bit into your hairline. Now, if you have dark hair, this is a little harder because I can blend into my hairline a little bit because my color is pretty light. If you have dark hair and light skin, you might want to be a little more careful with your blend, but for those of you who are lighter skinned and lighter haired like me, you can just blend right into that hairline to make sure you get that full look, right? So now you can go through, and if there's any touch-ups you want to do, I'm just going to get a little bit on here, go into the corners around my nose a little bit more. There we go. You notice I don't do my eyes. I use a primer on my eyes, so I don't have to put more foundation on them. There we go. And just kind of dabbing at the places I want, blending out on the places I want to look a little more natural. There we go. And that's my look. Now I can go ahead and go forward with all of those things, my highlight, contour, my blush, I will go ahead and say because I feel like it's part of foundation. I do like to do a light shimmery color up here, right above my cheekbones, and through here, just to give myself a little bit more of a glow, right? That's what we're going for with our foundation. You want a really nice natural look that has none of the redness, none of the scars showing or anything, and a little bit of a glow. So if you're using a matte foundation like me, the spray is a matte foundation. You can kind of touch where you want that little bit of a glow, anywhere the sun would naturally hit your face, and move forward like that. So that is how I do my flawless face. So over the course of this week, I'm going to be showing you off some of my different foundations, talking about different types of foundations, not just my products, but in general, and showing you how to kind of play with the coverage that you get from them and what skin types they're best for. So what I love about this, why I showed it off as my first one, is that this spray foundation is really good for any skin type: oily, dry, combo, neutral. This one is really good for all skin types, and it has that customizable coverage built in. It's super simple to use. So that's why I love this one and started out with it. But we're going to talk about, for maybe those of you who don't like the zero makeup look, what might be best for you, or those of you who want mega coverage, what might be best for you. So we're going to be talking about some of those things as the week goes on. But if you have any questions about foundation, about application, we're going to use a lot of different, We're going to use a lot of different things to apply foundation to, so you can get an idea of how to use them and what goes best with what. If you have any questions, please send me a message. Tell me. I love to be able to answer questions during videos. All right, everybody, hit share. I always appreciate it. Let's get people excited about foundation. We're going to share all these tips and tricks that took me from a constant rosacea battler to feeling pretty confident every day in my skin. And that's a wonderful feeling. All right, everybody, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.